Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Premier League Show Gameweek 6 review. Harry has once again done a review show. We're not allowed to look ahead. We are only looking behind us. So let's go to my glamorous co-hosts tonight. As always, Barney seems to be getting stuck with me every single week now. So how you doing, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. Good to be on the show again with you, and thank you, Harry, for inviting me on. And I'm looking forward to sort of reviewing Game Week 6 this evening.
Wonderful stuff. And let's go to the north of England. John, how you doing, mate?
Big up, big up. I was in North of England, now I'm down in Bristol, but I do go back to Newcastle a lot. So thank you very much for having us on. And even to Barney, big Fulham fan, even
Evening,
to
mate.
the wonderful and gifted Soph, a big
Oh,
Gooner.
thank you. Pick up yourself.
Thank you. I'd love to get Sophie as a Newcastle fan one day, but I tell you what, that'd be amazing.
Never happened.
You know what? You listen, Soph, and Kallum, thanks for having us on, my guy, and thank you for the chat as well for giving us the opportunity, Harry, as well.
Lovely stuff. And Soph, obviously my first show with you. You are from the wrong side of North London. We are rivals. But how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just happy to be here. And yeah, lovely to meet you all as well. And yeah, can't wait to chat about the games that have happened so far.
Wonderful stuff. So it was a very eventful weekend. It had its highs, it had its lows. I mean, for a start of a season, I'm quite enjoying it. I don't know about you guys. It seems to be going, not one team seems to be sort of pulling away or doing stuff. So, I mean, let's jump right into it. So, John, I think you'll be our man for the first one, mate. 12:30 up in Newcastle against the reigning champions. 1-1 draw. How did it go, mate?
I mean, before the game, I thought he was going to get absolutely slaughtered because we got no strikers up front, haven't we? I mean, look, I think I'll be happy for a point. I would have taken the point going into the game, but at the same time, yeah, I thought he did better second half. I mean, I thought he started well. I mean, it's just a fun decision from Jacob Murphy hasn't been great, and also as well, City got into the game and should have scored when Haaland put down Burn on his backside and he made a little move there. And I think it might be Trippier cleared out from calling Nick at the time, but the goal came in. Grealish on the left-hand side, we didn't deal with him. And then the shot came from Guardiola. And that's when the far pause. I think Nick could have done a little bit better there, if I'm honest with you. But Joe Linton had a shot, stroke half-time, brilliant save by Edison. Then in the second half, I mean, could have gone even way, but the next goal is going to be key. Gordon broke away from a pass from Bruno, round at Edson to be brought down and score some penalty. And then we could have won the game. Longstaff, for me, I don't think it's good enough for Newcastle, to be fair. I know he's Fi's opinion, and he screwed it wide from 10 yards. That should have been in the back of the net. And then City had 3 great chances. That was Haaland, missing a sitter, Foden, and also Silva with a chest and turn and shot, which Pope was equal to it as well. But out of the game, I'm out for a point. We needed a reaction after that shocker against Fulham. And I have to say that, Barney, but it was poor from us. But you were excellent against us, by the way. And you know what? We needed a reaction, got the reaction, but we got no strikers now. Anthony Gordon has to play up front. Yeah. And we got to build on that now. Going into Everton on Saturday, that ain't going to be easy. And you know what? We got to get points away like Everton. Home to Brighton's going to be tough. Then we've got Chelsea away. And then we've got Sophie, like Arsenal coming up as well. So the next 4 games are going to be so crucial. And I think Eddie got his tactics right. But I don't want to see Lloyd Kelly playing left back again. He's a left-sided centre-back. We got Lewis Hall for that reason. Lewis Hall, by the way, before we go on to Sophie and Barney, was magnificent.
No, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. I mean, it did strike me as Newcastle were a little bit toothless. You have got your 2 main men out injured with was it Isaac with a broken toe or a broken foot, and Kallum Wilson once again failing more medical tests.
Yeah,
He's nearly on Jack Grealish's level at the moment, ain't he? To say the least, he
100%,
must be pushing that close.
100%. Yeah, I mean, Isak's got a broken toe. We don't know. I think he'll be back after the international break. I don't think he'll be playing against Everton. He should be back against Brighton. But Callum Wilson, for me, it's gone on. He's too regular now. We only get about 15 games from this guy. Yeah, don't get me wrong. When he plays, the guy scores goals. However, the trouble about him is he's too injury prone, and Eddie still wants to sign on a new deal. And this is the problem with Eddie Howe, right? I love Eddie Howe. I'll back him, but he's got to stop playing his favourites. Stop being ruthless and what's the S word? Is it sentimentally? Oh, I can't remember what it is now, but totally be better.
Don't be sentimental with your old trinkets. Yeah.
Fat. And that is the thing. And I think somewhere along the line, it's going to cost Eddie Howe's job for being sentimental with the players as favourites. I mean, last night, Big Almiron, yeah, ran like a headless chicken, yeah, shot over the bar, and an offside goal. Yeah, he did a good pass, yeah, at one stage, but again, and there's a reason why he ain't good enough for Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? And we need a right side of mid in January, a centre back in January, and we could do another striker now, surely. But that's for another time.
See where we are. So, yeah. Barney, if I come over to you, mate, obviously we discussed the game where Newcastle did get ripped a new backside last weekend by Fulham.
We did.
Did you think it was a reaction which they needed against City, or do you think they kind of were very much playing into City's hands until that very suspect penalty that they won, where Gordon may or may not have run into Ederson? I have seen online in some speculative pieces. I can see John's face wanting to nut me right now over it. But...
Hey,
talking about the penalty, right? You get moments in games that change them, and we'll get to the Fulham Forest game in a second about our penalty. But you take those moments in games, don't you? You might not deserve those moments. I'm sure John will agree, but you take it. I mean, against City, you have to take any chance you get. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about our game against them this weekend, but I think Newcastle needed a response, having probably analysed an away team more than I usually do, due to the John connection. I knew I was going to be coming on this show. I watched Newcastle quite a lot when we played them, and they just seemed, I don't know, I'm sure John will agree with me. It was really, really poor. As good as we were, Newcastle were very poor, and they needed a response. And if I was Eddie Howe, I would definitely look at the City result as definitely a point gained, because on another day, City would have scored one of those chances late on. I mean, they only need one, don't they? Haaland's a machine, and he's not going to miss those kind of chances very often. So, 50-50 penalty, you take it, don't you? I think it's a very good point for Newcastle.
100%, because I was the other way around. That would have been a straight penalty kick, no doubt about it. Do you know what I mean? But we needed that look, got that look, and it looked a penalty. It's definitely a pen, and the referee, Edson gave the referee a decision to make, and caught him just.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So, Sophie, if I come over to you, so obviously City are the biggest rivals to Arsenal, going for the title. You have been close twice, fallen down twice. You got the banner. You got the banner to go with it as well. Obviously, how do you see it now, or do you think it's too early to say that this is drop points for City that play into Arsenal's hands at the moment?
I think like you said, it's so early on, isn't it? It's so hard to tell. And being like last season, we lost to you guys, we lost to Fulham, and like you look at the games we should have won, and that's definitely the game for me that stands out. So like you can't predict these things, because like Arsenal could lose, our next game. You just don't know. But obviously it puts us in a better position. I'm drawing. I think Rodri being out is just absolutely that should help us. I mean, obviously I've said this online, I never wish an injury like that on anyone. We've had a lot of injuries so far this season, like Odegaard as well, but I think Rodri is going to be a big loss. But like Newcastle, I think sometimes you need a bit of luck in football, and I think that's a very good point for them. But I think for Man City, you know, I mean, they've not lost yet, and they'll see that as a positive. But yeah, I think it's a tough result for Man City. Really, they wanted a win. It's a game they should really win, but yeah, I always take it game by game. But obviously, like you said, we've tried to go for the league quite a few times, and hopefully this year will be our year. But it's so early on, like you just don't know like what Arsenal will do. Like we could, you know, we could beat Man City again this season and lose to like Fulham or Everton, whoever. You just can't predict these results in Arsenal. Sometimes struggle. I mean, Leicester, we struggled in that game at the end, but we obviously won. But yeah, it's so unpredictable, the Premier League now.
I've just heard John and Barney's hearts break in my mic, saying going to Newcastle and that's an easy win for them, and you guys probably beating Fulham as well. It was brilliant. So, Soph, if I stay with you, if we move on to our next game, Arsenal-Leicester, obviously 3:00 kickoff, final score 4-2 against Leicester with Arsenal winning. I mean, I was listening to this on the radio and I thought Leicester were pants to start
Yeah.
off with, but then somehow you guys bent over and said that we're going to let them have a little bit of fun here. We're going to keep Steve Cooper in the job for at least another 45 minutes. So give me a rundown of how the game was for you, whether you watched it, whether you was at the Emirates. How did it
Yeah.
sort of play out?
Do you know what? It was so strange because I was watching it. Like you said, the first half was so good. And the second half, I don't know what happened. Like they scored early on. I think to be fair, like their goals were just really good, and I don't think you could really fault Raya, to be honest. I think defensively we could have done a bit better on the first goal they scored, but yeah, it was looking to me like it was going to end 2-2, and like I said last season, there were games we should have won that we'll regret, you know, not winning. And that I was thinking, please don't be one of these games. And I was looking at Liverpool winning, and I'm just like, Arsenal need to do it. So obviously, I'm just relieved we won, to be honest. Like at this moment, I don't really care how we win. Like 3 points is what we need. But to be honest, the goals we did score were obviously really good. Glad Havertz got a goal as well, but it was such a frustrating second half. Like you said, Leicester the first half, like they were so bad. Like 2-0 didn't really show how good we were. Like we dominated it so much, and I just feel like we should have really scored a lot more. And I think that's really teaching us a lesson now that we really need to be more clinical in these games, because you know you're not going to always have a bit of luck or you're going to win. Because I know Trossard's third goal, you know, it went in, obviously happy, but it was a bit of a kind of strange goal. But yeah, I think we've just got to be more clinical in the future. But I was just relieved. Arsenal can never do anything easy. We make it more difficult for ourselves, definitely.
No, I completely concur with you. So, John, I'm going to throw it to you. And
Yeah.
looking at it, it was 2-2 up until the 90th minute for Arsenal and Leicester. And I'm not speculating. I think Arsenal have won this game fairly, and I say that with tongue in cheek. 10 minutes of extra time? Seriously? Are they taking the mick? Can you talk me through where the referees get this 10 minutes of extra time from, mate?
It beats me, my guy. Beats me. Yeah, listen, right. I mean, I don't know. It could be for time wasting. You know what it is? So I really get like a Leicester team goes to a top team, like say Leicester went to Arsenal at the Emirates and that. They got the 2 seats, yeah, and they tried to slow the game down and waste a bit of time and whatever you want to call it, right? But they would have been happy for a point. They would have you know, tried to take this thing out of the game and try to spoil the game, yeah. But the referee on daft. They will have time after you try to slow the game down, yeah. But Arsenal always find a way. They will find a way. They don't give up. They fight to the very end, and they just love scoring late goals, yeah. And when Arsenal got that third goal, then I think it's just deserves to be the end of the day. And Leicester must be kicking themselves and that, you know what I mean? They must be frustrated, upset, and they've done everything they can to get a point. Yeah, they would have taken that point, but I'm afraid to say, once you do that, it's game over. But it's all about this wasting time and slowing the game down. That's why they add it on. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I can remember years ago, right? I mean, it never mattered, but now they've just found a way. And 10 minutes of added time. I can remember last season, we had 8 minutes of added on time when we played PSG. And that was never 8 minutes on added on time. The game was flowing, it was good, but it is what it is. I mean, you got to play to the whistle. You got to keep going. Also kept going and going and going. They found a way and they won the game.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So, Barney, I'm going to come to you, mate. So, I'm just having a look at some of the stats for Arsenal. So, they had 16 goals, 16 shots on target, 9 off target, 9 block shots, 75% possession, and, well, add a believe it's 17 corners. I mean, Jesus Christ, what are them stats? I mean, like John said, Arsenal kept going and going and going and going and going. And for once, it looks like Steve Cooper's boring play style of holding up and holding a back line seemed to be working. But Arsenal's determination kept going. I mean, what can you
It's what
make
I
of it,
saw.
mate?
When you look at those stats, you think only one result, but I can go back a few years and we've played a couple of games like that where the other team literally has all the ball, they have all the chances. You're completely on the end of all the wrong decisions, if you like. The ball goes against you, the second balls, and Leicester are going to be really, really disappointed. I mean, I've been to enough games where you've got to see the game out, right? At 2-2, you have to be looking at a well-earned point. I mean, you can't just switch off. I mean, we've all been to enough football games, right? We've all seen our teams do silly things late on, and you think, why? Just see the game out? Look, it's only a few minutes left. Just close it out. Be professional. Just kick the ball into Rose Ed. Just do the basics. But Arsenal, they always find a way. They're a great side. They're really good. They just they found a way to get past Leicester, and yeah, it took the own goal, but I listened to it on the radio, and once that happened, you just think the writing's on the wall, unfortunately for Leicester, and their just heads dropped. And then the fourth goal went, and you think probably wasn't deserved. It would have been a great point for Leicester, that's for sure.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. And I mean, I may joke about going against Arsenal fans and all that, but if there's ever a game on the radio, I think all as football fans will sit there and listen and listen and listen and keep going. And I mean, when I heard the third goal going and the fourth goal going, I was just like, oh, Leicester have really let Arsenal in here and have really gone for it as well. And I mean, when I look at the squad that both Newcastle and Arsenal both have at the moment, you guys have a lot of injuries throughout. But what is good is to see a lot of young players on the bench. And no matter how many injuries both teams have got at the moment, they are finding a way to either grind out wins or hold on to get a mighty point like John's Newcastle did against Man City and like Soph's lot did against Leicester. You guys kept going, kept going, kept going and held on until the final whistle. So, I mean, commendable for that. So let's spin it on its head and we'll jump to West London, over to a club with a horrible flyover round by them. We're not talking about Fulham. We're talking about one of their neighbours, Brentford West Ham, and Thomas Frank against Julian Lopetegui, who's probably got his P60 and P45 in his pocket at the moment because we know how the West Ham board like removing their managers. So it ends in 1-1, but we do have a record break in this. So, Barney, let me jump to you as a West London club fan. Do you know what the record was that got broken, mate?
We put it on the spot now. It's 3 games, wasn't it? That's the one. They scored very, very early, the third game in a row.
Yeah, within a minute. And once again, it was in Burmo who popped up out of nowhere. I had this one on 5 Live. 5 Live hosts, as usual, are about as annoying as everything, going on about it. Record this, record that. But Barney, I'll stick with you. And obviously, what's Thomas Frank doing with these guys? Because I mean, Jesus Christ, they've scored 3 games in a row now. City, Spurs, and now West Ham, all big history clubs. I mean, what are they doing to be able to score these goals early?
I like Thomas Frank. I know it sounds weird coming from a Fulham fan, and I'll probably get shot for saying this, but I like the way Brentford play. I really do. And I think he's got them playing a way that is consistent, and they'll do well. And I just think they came out the blocks, but it's always a danger. I mean, you can almost score like too early, and you get that kind of false sense, and then the team has got the whole game to sort of, it knocks them into kind of gear, if you like. I see it with my own team, and yeah, it's a great stat when you look at it as a neutral. It's like, oh wow, third game in a row they've scored. But yeah, it's just one of those where I think West Ham grew into it, and it's always tricky calling a London derby, Kallum, isn't it? You just never quite know how it's going to go. And yeah, I think Brentford have they've done reasonably okay. West Ham not so okay. I mean, we've seen the games, we discussed them, Kallum, haven't we? I mean, how we didn't beat them, I'd never know. But yeah, it's a good point for Brentford. I think they'll be pleased with that.
Lovely stuff, mate. Lovely stuff. So obviously another Londoner. I don't know whether you've got as much hatred for West Ham as I have, being from the East End of London. But I am a neutral tonight. I will be very polite to them. They did obviously come back from being 1-0 down to having Souček score in the 54th minute. Deserved, or are they really on a downward spiral at the moment going for them?
I think honestly, like Barney said, I think for Brentford, like I think at the moment, this is a better point for them. I think it's really interesting because obviously Declan Rice was a big player for them, but I think at one point they were doing really well, and then I don't think it's just because of Declan Rice, but I think Declan Rice, it's like, I mean, it's sort of like Spurs with Hurricane. I mean, Spurs are actually okay without Kane, but it's like when you have that really important player and they're not there anymore, you will struggle. But yeah, West Ham, I think they're in a downward spiral. Like, I think if you're a West Ham fan, you're probably thinking like, where do we go from here? But obviously, it's not, a draw's a draw, and it's not like the worst result. But yeah, I think at West Ham, I think at the moment you'd want to play them because they're not doing too good. But as the fact you've got a point, isn't the worst result. I think when you look at this game, you could sort of predict, draw. But yeah, I think West Ham have just got to sort of find the feet. It's a big season. The season's we're at the start. We're not even halfway through yet. But yeah, I don't know where they go from here. To be honest, they're in a bit of a mess, really.
Exactly. And John, I'll come to you.
Yeah.
Is the way that they go from here David Moyes again? Is that where they're going? Are we going back to Moyesy?
For me, I think you need to move on from David Moyes, like West Ham. I mean, Lopetegui, right? From rumours has it that there's been unrest at the club. Yeah, West Ham's done over 100 mil this season, right? They've got some good players coming through the door. You got Fulkrug, who are really sort of thing, 30, 31 years old. Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing for sure, right? I mean, West Ham, I mean, under this manager, I mean, they wanted Moyes to go for quite some time, yeah? Now he's gone. Now they got Lopetegui, right? He's getting another chance in the Premier League. He's really got to deliver this season. He really has got to get them out of a hole at the minute, because at the minute, I don't know what style they're playing, to be honest. And if I was a West Ham fan, you know what? I'll be asking questions of this guy. I mean, what is it? What is their style? He's not playing Fulkrug. Now, he's still loyal with Mikel Antonio, yeah, which I think he's good, but he's 34 coming on 35, yeah. I mean, you're playing Alves the centre of defence. He's not a centre-back. He's a CDM, yeah. Rodriguez, I mean, came with Betis, yeah. He's going to need time in the Premier League. He's 30, coming on 31. And you got Somerville as well. Why is he getting the game yet? Somerville came for Leeds. He's not getting the game yet, is he? And they got absolutely battered 3-0 by Chelsea. Could have been a lot more. But West Ham need to find a way. And don't forget, they're playing in London until November. After that, they'll be coming out of London. The first 10 fixtures, they're playing in London. Yeah, they got a good point at Brentford. Now they must kick on. They have to kick on because they need to get wins very, very quickly. Because West Ham fans will give them time. they're a low bunch of fans, West Ham. You know what I mean? But the players got to do it for him now. And if they don't, then there's a problem because they do not want a relegation dogfight. And West Ham are not very good at relegation dogfights at all. But I don't want them relegated. I really don't, because they're special. They're a lovely club. And I've been there last season and spoke to West Ham fans, and they're fantastic. They're fantastic all the time. So I just hope Lopetegui, for his sanity, turns it around. Will he get that chance? I think he will. But we'll see what happens on Christmas.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I mean, there's definitely a disjoint from, by the look of it, Steinson, who is signing the players for them, to what style Lopetegui's playing. So, I mean, yeah, I think Brentford will probably be the more happier fans out of this, that at least when they have taken the lead, they haven't lost like they have the last two. So I think that puts them in good stead. But let's stick with West London and we go to Stamford Bridge with the old Brighton coaching staff versus the new Brighton coaching staff. So a lovely 3:00 kickoff with, I mean, ridiculous amount of goals in it. I mean, this was, I don't know whether there was any defence going on here or whether it was just running forward and letting them go. But obviously ended 4-2. So, Soph, I'm going to come over to you. Talk me through what was going on in this game, because I lost track by the end of the first half, to be honest. I'm not going to lie.
I know, I don't know. I mean, do you know what? It's really surprising with Chelsea, to be honest with you. They're actually not doing that bad. They're having a good start to the season, but I think Palmer is just absolutely amazing. I think he's gonna have a really good season, so I think he's definitely helped. But yeah, I think Chelsea this season are sort of, I mean, we all know they've got a really big squad. Like the players they have, like there's just too many. But I think they're sort of figuring out, you know, which players play in which position, and they're trying to. I think their manager's figuring out now the starting 11, and I think when you play against them this season, it won't be easy. I mean, we've got them coming up actually soon. I think we played them away, which I just want to batter them, but yeah, it'll be tough. But yeah, I think they're going to be tough to play against. I don't think like at top 4 or top 6 really, but I think Chelsea are having a good start to the season, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot went on in that game. Definitely, it was definitely a thriller. I watched the highlights, and yeah, I thought that game was absolutely crazy.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, there was a couple of moments where the Brighton fans were shouting abuse and booing Robert
Mm.
Sanchez. That was definitely an interesting part of it. But yeah, looking at it, I mean, it didn't look like either team could defend at all. It was just Cole Palmer running through, either winning a
Yeah.
penalty, trying to set other people up. So, I mean, I saw something the other day where they were saying that realistically Cole Palmer is the best player in the Premier League right now. I don't think that's immensely true, but
No.
there's
Yeah.
definitely some aspects to it where how Southgate didn't use him properly in the Euros. I mean, Jesus, could that have made some difference to us in the summer? We will never know. But Barney, if I come to you, like Soph said, Chelsea have enough players to field the first team, second team, third team, under 21s, under 18s, under 16s, and they could then supplement their women's team and the cafeteria team with the amount of players they've got on their books. Where do you think they go forward from here?
They have a great team, obviously. I mean, I really admire Cole Palmer. I mean, the stats speak for himself. As Sophie said, I don't think they'll challenge massively high. They're certainly capable of finishing 6th or 7th or 5th. They've got the core there, and I agree with you, Helen, what you just said about Cole Palmer. On this kind of form, he has to be in the England squad. I mean, he's just untouchable. He's just a class above, really, he is. I mean, 4 goals, they were all well taken. I mean, Brighton's insistence on playing a sort of stubborn, high defensive line probably contributed to all those kind of chances, if you like. But definitely, it was an insane game because I watched the highlights actually last night, and I was really just impressed with how they sort of getting forward. It was just attack after attack, and just Brighton didn't have a response. I mean, Cole Palmer's on a different level. He really is.
No, I think I agree with you on that, mate. John, if I come over to you, so obviously Brighton seem to be doing all right under their new manager for a couple of games. They seem to have a bit of
Yeah.
identity. They seem to be a little bit all over the place. Obviously, he was sent off last weekend. He has been having many a row with either referees or with the press. He don't seem to be doing himself any favours, and it seems like it could be impacting them on the field. I may be wrong, but what do you think, mate?
I mean, Hutzler, when he came in, 31 years of age, yeah, I thought, okay, cool. I think it's going to be exciting to watch. I think he's going to do good things. And don't forget, this manager got St. Pauli up from the Bundesliga too. Very, very impressive with that football club, yeah. But I'll go with you sort of thing. He's kind of loses his way a little bit with the referees, like you said, and it's not doing himself any favours. All he has to do is just calm it down. He's 31. He's a manager, not a player anymore. This guy will do things. It really, really, really do good things. And he plays attractive football, possession-based football. And you know what? He's just going to get better and better. If he carries on the way he is, just get the results in. Just don't get in a temper. Get used to the Premier League. Yeah, he did apologise for what he's done, and he will learn from it. He'll definitely learn what the Premier League is all about, how it works. It might be different than the Bundesliga, but the Premier League, you're under more scrutiny. They'll check you out in every single move. They do not miss a beat. But like I said, he's exciting, and he ticks the right boxes, and he's going to get better. All he has to do is just go back to winning ways, but not to win a 19th though.
Exactly. I mean, we are only in Gameweek 6, so I mean, he is going to have hopefully a chance, and Brighton do stick with him. But he has got big boots to fill in De Zerbi going. There is definitely an identity that Brighton like and have followed. So I mean, they definitely need to get back to, like you say, winning ways, but also get back to their identity in a way as well to make sure that they're not veering away from that, because obviously everyone has loved watching Brighton the last couple of years. They've loved the database recruitment, seeing the amount of players they've brought in from Asia and Africa and different people like that who have all just come out of the woodwork. And we've got wonderful talents like Matoma. Dahoud, not so much. I think he's shit. But the other players that they've found, and Harry will probably have a go at me for swearing, but hey ho, it's only half an hour in, so we're not doing too bad. So let's move on to. We're going to go to Merseyside right now, to Goodison Park. Everton's first win of the season. I have to say, it's a pretty big one, to be honest. Two teams in Everton and Palace who are not in great form. Glasner has had his team ripped apart. Not that much, at least not from the players we expected to go. But it turns out the impact of Anderson and Elise going has kind of ripped his style up. But obviously, Everton, with their impending takeover as well, it looks like, I think, is it Fenway Group who are going to do it? The geezer who owns Roma?
No, not Fenway Group. It's the guys from Roma, sort of thing.
Oh, is it Free King Group?
Free King Group,
yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
So it looks like that's edging ever closer after they thought that could collapse. But 2-1 respectable win for Everton. I think they was definitely lacking a bit of identity, weren't they, Barney, over the last couple of years in terms of players really trying to show up and express themselves. And ultimately in this game, I mean, they did go behind again, but seems that Dwight McNeil actually decided it was going to be his day. What did you think, mate?
Yeah, I mean, Everton the past couple of seasons have sort of been really off the ball by their own standards. I've not been hugely impressed with them. Crystal Palace, I was concerned when they lost Anderson to us how they respond to that, him being such a rock in defence for them. Going forward, I didn't think there'd be too much in this game, to be honest. Both sides have had really below par starts, haven't they? Let's be honest. But as you say, Kallum, Dwight McNeil came good at the right time. Really, Everton needed that result. They sort of been nearly sort of the side that's almost gone down the last couple of seasons, but somehow just pulled away. And I keep thinking to myself, is it going to be this season? Is it going to be this season? And yeah, they needed that win really badly. So they'll be pleased with that. And like you say, Crystal Palace just need to regroup and then go again.
No, exactly, mate. John, if I come to you, obviously that game leaves Palace in 18th at the moment in the relegation zone. I know it's early days. It lifts Everton out of it, if that counts for anything, but only by a point. Are these two, instead of being like they had the last couple of seasons, vying for middle to top of the bottom half of the table, are they going to be vying for relegation candidacy, or are they still a long way to go?
Excuse me. It's still a long way to go, to be fair. I think Everton get out of it. They'll always find a way of getting out of it, Everton. They really do. And when the Friedland comes in, will Sean Dyche be their man? That is the thing. If you look at the record, right? I mean, don't forget when they took over, they sacked Daniel De Rossi for Roma, yeah? Gave him a new 3-4 year deal. And then after 4 games this season, they sacked him, yeah? And which ain't good. And then they sacked Jose Mourinho as well before that. And when they come in, these people are very quiet. They won't speak to the interview. They don't do interviews. They won't speak to the press. Right? They go quiet about their business, yeah? Sean Dyche needs to look over his shoulder because I'll tell you now, right? They come in and it doesn't start well, then I think it's just to be under threat because they do like to bring their own guys in. That's what they want to do. And it's going to be very interesting for Everton fans. I think they need to give these guys time. I think they will spend money. And because they spend big on for Jose, 80 million quid to get in the win the Europa Conference as well, to win that. And all of a sudden, it's going to be interesting. And I think Sean Dyche, like I said, needs to look over his shoulder because he needs to get results very quickly because I fear for him. Because the current orders won't sack him. Mashiri won't sack him. That's up to the new owner. So it'd be interesting. But I think Everton the final way. I hope we beat them on Saturday, though.
No, exactly, mate. And so if I come over to you, out of Glasner and Moyes, who do you feels the rope tightening around their neck a little bit at the moment? Who's going to be the first one to drop down from the gallows, do you reckon? Or do you think they're both safe until Christmas?
Honestly, I don't know right now because I think with Everton, I think they've had like the worst start they could possibly have. Like I've watched a few of their games and you think to yourself like they're taking their chances at times. Like I can't remember which game I watched, but Calvert-Lewin was doing good. He took a few chances but he missed the most important ones. And I think Everton, I just think their ownership, everything about them are a mess. Like you said, I mean, we're not going to sit here expect them to like challenge or get a top 4, but you expect them to be the top half of the table. Like there were a few seasons back where they were at least 8th, and you expect them to be at least maybe 10th. Like I mean, to be honest, it's a good win. Crystal Palace actually have struggled a bit, but Crystal Palace are hard to play against. But I don't know. I think they'll give them time to see what happens. Maybe till January, but even then, you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they can't really have another season like they did last season because they're at, they could really get relegated, and that would be really crazy to see. So I think with Everton, this season they've got to improve a lot, but I just don't know if it's the manager or if it's more the ownership. But I think as a club overall, they're just a bit of a mess. But obviously they got that win, and I think they've just got to keep that momentum, and hopefully for them, obviously, I'm not really bothered by Everton. Like if they went down, it would be a bit like I'd be surprised. I'd obviously want them to stay up, but I think they've just got to keep getting those wins, keep getting even draws. I mean, Newcastle's a tough game, but they've just got to when you've got a win, you've got to just try and get more. Hopefully for them.
Exactly. So potentially they could use momentum, and John may be having a really rough weekend coming up. You never know. We shall see. So if we jump down to the Midlands, and it was another 3:00 kickoff, Forest versus Fulham. Barney, I'll dump this one on you, mate, because I have no clue about this game. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I watched most of the highlights on YouTube back on our channel. Yeah, as a side, basically, after assessing the sort of games, you've got two sides going against each other who I think are going to finish round about mid-table. And the early chances went Forest's way, as you'd expect, being the home side. Owaini, I think I pronounced that right, did a cross over the bar, and you think, okay, warning signs. And then it had a few contentious, things going on in the game. Firstly, I think Chris Wood, he had a shot which Leno saved, but the ball came in and he sort of palmed it out, but it was adjudged to be offside, and you think it was 50-50. I've seen them given, and then nothing much more happened. It was just up and down on the pitch until half time. Really, it was just there weren't too many shots in the game. To be fair, it was quite lackluster. But then Raul Jimenez, well, he didn't win the penalty. Pereira did, and he's actually our nominated penalty taker. And there was a bit of a scuffle when the penalty was awarded, because it wasn't actually awarded first, and he stayed down. And then it went to VAR, and you think, oh, here we go again. And it took like 5 minutes for the goal to be awarded. And I don't know about you lot, but it takes too long, doesn't it? It's just too long. 5 minutes to decide whether it's a penalty or not. But it was the right one, a soft penalty. I hold my heads up. It was a soft one, but he went into the back of his ankle. And then obviously Pereira wanted to take the goal, but Raul, stepped up. Great goal to be a great penalty. No, and there's the game we saw out the game, played it well, to be honest. Chris Wood had a chance. Hudson-Odoi had a vicious shot that was palmed straight into Leno's arms. Other than that, we just saw out the game, really. We actually defended really well. Anderson, brilliant. Bassi, superb. On another day, I think one of their players went down they appealed for a penalty, but looking back, it wasn't. I don't think Bassi touched him. He'd made a meal of it. But yeah, terrific win away from home. First one, clean sheet, up to 6th place. I can't grumble.
No, exactly, mate, exactly. So, I mean, that game does leave Fulham in 6th. Believe it when we see it. See how long you last there, mate. We will see soon. And that leaves Forest in 10th. So, John, if I come to you, did you see any of the game, mate? Or are you like Barney, going off of highlights? And is Fulham flying high, or are Forest going to keep being win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game?
Well, Forest had a good start of the season for a while, up until they got beat off Fulham. I think Forest got a good setup there. They got a good side there. They really have this season, but they must keep on the Nuno Espirito Santo. They must keep him. They got to give him. They can't keep sacking managers all the time. I think he'll do well. Solid mid-table this season. Good for him. But Fulham, I watched them last week. They looked very, very impressive against us. Okay, we made it look like Real Madrid at times. I'm not going to lie. It should have been 6 or 7. But this is the thing. I mean, look, I know Barney's happy because he loves us really. But there you go. And the fact of the matter is, right, I mean, Fulham looks a good outfit. Marcus Silva has done a magnificent job. What he's trying to play, the style he play, 4-2-3-1, attacking football, defense solid if he can, going forward's great. Edwin Smith for us, amazing. And I think Sophie's gutted that he left, didn't he? Arsenal to go to Fulham, she's gutted. But you know what? I mean, I like Smith Rowe, I really do. I think Pereira in as well. I like Lukic, I like him as well. I love Tan football. Follow his career when he's at Torino. He looks solid in the midfield, CDM. And yeah, Marcus Silva's done a good job. He really has. He got out the championship, played the style of football. Everyone thought, oh, Fulham's going to struggle. I never thought for 1 minute Fulham's going to struggle. I think we've got a good team there. I can see Marcus Silva being there for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years because he loves that football club. He loves that football club. Fans, I speak to Fulham fans, how they rate him, and they love him. They do love this guy. And all it is, Fulham is not going to be top 4. They're not going to get in the top 4. They might get a place in Europa Conference to keep going. But if I was a Fulham fan, I know what Fulham's all about. Not going to win titles. Cups, maybe. Mid-table would be absolutely perfect for Fulham Football Club. And they are a joy to watch when they get going.
No, I really appreciate where you're coming from, John. Soph, it looks like that Fulham are now picking up a lot of Arsenal academy products. They seem to be doing like what Liverpool used to do with Southampton. Used to just nick all the players. It seems like Fulham have done it with you guys, with Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson. Do you feel that having these two guys from Arsenal, do you think it's pushed Fulham forward? Do you think it's taken them backwards? What impact do you think these guys have had on the Fulham midfield and front line?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like we said, Fulham have been very good for a while. I mean, I know last season, like when we played them, we struggled against them because they were quite hard to play against. So they've always been, a very good side. I mean, especially last season. But I think obviously Reece Nelson has started to score as well and help. But I think Smith Rowe, I think they're both very important. But I think Smith Rowe's, I mean, I don't know how long Smith Rowe would, be there for Fulham, but I could really see him being maybe a legend one day there, or maybe a very, maybe one of their best players in the team. So I think it's the right move for Smith Rowe, to be honest. Like, obviously, if I was at it, I would have kept Smith Rowe for another season. But I think Smith Rowe, he's he's not getting any younger, and he was only sitting on the bench, and he needs to get minutes. I mean, it'd be good to see his career internationally, to see if that couldn't ever happen for England. But yeah, Smith Rowe for me, it feels like a very, he feels very settled there, comfortable at Fulham, and I think you can really see by his performances that he's settled in really well. He seems very happy. But yeah, it's quite interesting because I know like Iwobi's there, and that seems like it works. So it'll be hard sort of when we play against him. I know Reece Nelson probably won't play because he's on loan, I think. So, but with Smith Rowe, it'll be that horrible, having to do that. But I think it's great to see them being really happy there, and I just want to see Smith Rowe score as many goals as he can. But like John said, I think you don't really expect them to get top four. But you know what? I know they've had a good start. It's a very long season, but you never know. They could get 6 to 8 if they have a very good season. So, yeah, I'm sort of excited to see how it goes for Fulham throughout the season, apart from when they play against us. But yeah, I am rooting for them because obviously I love Smith Rowe. Reece Nelson's obviously been really good. Reece Nelson's quite an underrated player for Arsenal. He probably doesn't really, he's not really for Saka. He can't really go to Saka's level. Obviously, well, Saka's just really good, but Reece Nelson's a very good player. But yeah, Fulham's like, I wouldn't say my second team, but like the team that I'm watching right now. I mean, I watch Ramsdale, like Southampton, but I feel like Fulham have got so many Arsenal players, so I'm just like rooting for them.
No,
It is Fulham
I
2.0.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the
Arsenal
thing. We
2.0,
all
sorry.
want to have second teams, don't we? We all want to be able to enjoy football to its fullest, and if we can appreciate other teams, then it
Yeah,
works.
exactly.
I mean, in my house, my younger brother's Arsenal, my older brother's Man United, my dad is
Wow, that's
Spurs,
mad.
my mum is West Ham, my uncle was Millwall, and my partner's dad is West Ham as well. So Jesus Christ, I'm covering
God,
all
the
of.
games must be fun.
Don't the amount of Boxing Day matches that if it goes wrong and we end up in a family row, that goes down well, don't it? Someone's
Oh
going
my
through a
god.
window.
Oh, that's
um,
mad.
oh, don't. Right, let's go to. Well, we had a nice break for half an hour, and then we went to the 5:30 kickoff. We go to Molineux, Liverpool with Slot are sort of petering away. Wolves, I'm still trying to work out what their identity is. They seem to be in the same identity crisis as West Ham are as well. So, John, I'll come to you. Obviously, ended in 2-1 Liverpool, but it's one of them games where it was very scrappy by the look of the highlights and by the sound of it on the radio. I'm still trying to work out what happened, to be honest, mate, and that's even today. What's your thoughts?
I thought Wolves still had a go at Liverpool, apparently, but looks at it, yeah. I mean, you talk about Wolves Liverpool, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, Wolves gave it a right go for the game. I mean, they did try, from what I've heard, but it's just Liverpool again. Do you know what I mean? Excuse me. I mean, Mo Salah missed an open goal, and which okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, You're gonna love it. And I mean, Wolves got the deserve equaliser for what I could see, and then they give a daft penalty away, and then Salah scored from it, and then Liverpool look comfortable in the end. But the bottom line is, right, it's going to be tough for Wolves this season. I really do. They're getting there. They're not getting hammered at home, but they need to start winning games at this moment in time. They'd be daft to sack Gary O'Neill because he's done a good job there. He really has. Gotten safe last season. Yeah, best players keeps leaving Wolves, and that's the bottom line. The thing is, though, guys, right? You don't want to sack him. You do not want to sack this guy because he's done a good job. Who's going to come in? That's the thing. I mean, they've got in good players. Andre's a good player. He seems to be clicking because I rate this guy. Played for Fluminense. And they've got Mosquero as well. I think he's going to be a good defender. The Colombian international. I thought Cunha doing bits as well. And Lamina does Lamina things, I guess. And look, I mean, they've got Larson as well up top. I think he'll come good. I think he's a really good target, man. I really do think that. But if Wolves just keep getting it, Wolves starts winning games, I think they'll click because they look a good outfit, Wolves. They really do. But this season, they've been very unlucky. As for Liverpool, top of the table, I truly believe that they're going to be thereabouts this season, Liverpool, if they keep their players fit. I think Arne Slot's done a fantastic job. I mean, if I was a Liverpool fan, I will not be worried about him at all whatsoever. He's come final, played fantastic football. He's come Liverpool. I can understand why he didn't want to spend any money in the summer, but I think he will be in the summer. But Liverpool thereabouts. Wolves will be okay, but they must start winning games.
No, I completely agree. So if I come to you on this as well, obviously John's raised a very valid point there about Wolves have just got to start turning some of their dominance and start scoring and actually stick by Gary O'Neill going forward. But my point when it comes to it is with Liverpool, where they didn't spend money in the summer, but do you think that was down to Slot, the Liverpool squad that's actually in place, or do you think that's FSG saying, let's see how we go first with it?
Yeah, it's interesting, Liverpool, isn't it? Because I don't think they did they bring anyone in at all? I don't know if they made one signing or not.
They bought in Chiesa, and I believe that was it.
Yeah, I don't think they did. Yeah, because I found that quite surprising, to be honest. Because Man City are gonna get better, this season, and they'll have known that we'll improve as well. So I reckon that it was a bit of both. Maybe I think they needed to bring other players in, but you look at Liverpool this season, like they're really good so far. Like Diaz for me is absolutely incredible. They've still got Mo Salah. I mean, Mo Salah, you don't know, is he going to leave at the end of the season? No, he's probably got a year. I think for now they're actually okay, and they can sort of afford not really bringing anyone in until January if they want to do that in January. But I think it was really surprising, to be honest, that they've not done that because I think they could have brought other players in. But yeah, like you said, they're doing good so far, but I definitely expect them to do stuff. I think if they didn't bring anyone in January, like I would be surprised. I reckon that would be to do with the board and the ownership because they definitely need that. But I suppose Arne Slot's come in and he's probably trying to figure out what needs to change. I mean, they're doing good so far. I mean, he's come into a very good team, so he hasn't had to change too much, to be honest. And he's quite lucky in that sense. But I know during his time he will bring new players in and move on some players, so that'll be interesting. But they've definitely had a good start. But I think with Wolves, I think it's a shame like they're 20th right now because they've, like John said, they've not really getting the results. But it's a bit of a frustrating one because they're dominating it, but unfortunately possession won't always win you games. So I think for me they've really got to just, even if they win 1-0 and it's not pretty, you just want to get the win. So Wolves need to really sort themselves out, really try and get results, even if they're draws. But getting those positive results because it's the start. There's a long season, but you wouldn't really, for me, I wouldn't really put them down for a team that I think that would get relegated. Because there are a lot of other teams that have come up as well. I really do hope Wolves kind of can pick themselves up. But like you said at the start, it's so hard to tell what's going to happen with Wolves. It's so early on, but yeah, right now they're not obviously getting the results they need.
No, exactly. Barney, I'll just come to you quickly, and it's going back to the point on Liverpool's business in the summer, but I'm actually going to link it to a point that Soph made earlier as well, that it was about Rodri and how key a player he is in that sort of 6 role as the sweeping, ball-winning midfielder. And I was having this discussion with someone the other day saying that it's a very unique role now, and hardly any teams have this player available. So, I mean, you've got Rodri, you've got Arsenal with Declan Rice. Liverpool tried it with Endo last year. Don't think it worked out that well. Do you feel that this is the sort of player that Liverpool are missing, or do you think there's something going to be wrong with their front line if Salah goes?
Salah, I really, really rate, and Diaz has been brilliant as well. And alluding to what John and Sophie said, obviously with the Liverpool manager coming in, he's still assessing his best side. I didn't expect Liverpool to sort of make masses of signings when he came in. I mean, the table doesn't lie, does it? They're doing well as it is. So come January, they might need to jump into the transfer market, Kallum, and assess this situation, bring in a player of that caliber. And I think they will. I genuinely do. But at this moment in time, I don't think they do. I think the team's working. Whether Salah goes, I don't know. It's anyone's guess at this moment in time. So that's Liverpool. As for Wolves, they've been playing well. I'll say this now: they won't go down. I think they're too good. I think it's between 4 or 5 other teams. They've been unlucky in games, but they have actually been on the end of quite a few whippings as well. We can't, forget that, and that's going to be a massive confidence hitter. I mean, I play football. I know when you, it's going to affect their confidence. There's no getting around that. And the table doesn't lie. 1 point from 6 games, a minus 10 goal difference already. They're lucky they're not cut adrift already. They're still there. There's teams all around them that they can get out of it. They just need, as Sophie said, just a couple of good draws. Pick up points here and there, and I think they'll be okay.
No, exactly. Wow, we're already an hour in nearly, and we're only on Saturday. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed that hour. Let's go again for another one. But let's jump on to Sunday. So, 2:00 kickoff. We go to Barney. You probably know this better than me for Championship teams. Ipswich, is it Portland Road or Kenilworth Road?
Portman Road.
So, game Ipswich versus Villa ended in 2-2, and I mean, Jesus Christ, this game could have gone anywhere. I'm not going to lie. So, John, I'm going to jump to you, mate, because I was watching this in a Steakhouse Angus in central London, and I couldn't get away from watching this and thinking, as a neutral, it's a bloody good game. I'm not going to lie. What about you, mate?
Yeah, which game is that game? Sorry.
It's the Ipswich Aston Villa game, mate.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the highlights of that one, sort of, I think Ipswich were really good. Second half, much better, and I think they're going to be safe this season. I really do. I like this Liam Delap. I really like him. I would have had him rather than William Masula. But at the end of the day, I mean, look, I think Ipswich, that's a brilliant point for Ipswich. I mean, Villa you would expect them to go there, rock up, and get the 3 points. You know what I mean? But Ipswich gave as good as they got. It's going to be a difficult place to go, Portman Road. And I think Kim McKenna's done a wonderful job there at this moment in time. Too many draws, though. But turns those draws into wins, I think Ipswich will be fine because I think Kim McKenna's going to do really good for this time. I mean, I like the players they've got. I like who's that one that plays up front? I mean, Lim Delap, there's another one as well, and came from Chelsea. Came on loan at Chelsea, and then he signed up on a permanent deal. Gives him an S.
Let me have a look for you, mate. It's not Omari Hutchinson.
Still one, yeah. Omari Hutchinson. He's going to be a superstar. This guy, I really do think that he is really good. And if we look at the defense they got, they play a 4-2-3-1. No stars in the team, and I think they're really good to watch. Ipswich, I mean, they're clicking under Kim McKenna. Villa, 2-punch job. I think they'd be disappointed with that because they want to fight for the top 4 this season. I think they need to beat teams like Ipswich, no disrespect. However, they lost to Sophie's mob, Arsenal. And let's be real about it. I think Villa will be fine this season. They're going to be like top 6, top 7 this season, Villa. But to mix it in with Champions League and the Premier League and the Cups as well, have they got a big enough squad to cope it? Not sure, but Unai Emery's done a fantastic job there. And I think he's doing there for a long time.
I think Villa needed some stability, didn't they? And I mean, John, I make you right on that. That obviously there could be some similarities, like when Newcastle got into the Champions League. Could it be about squads? Do they have the squad capable of doing it? But Soph, if I come over to you, obviously Ipswich took the early lead. They through Liam Delap, who obviously came from Man City, very good young prospect, was at Hull last year. Ipswich got hold of him, seems to be doing quite well in the Premier League. But then Villa, within 20 minutes, had taken the lead back again. And I thought, here we go again. It's going to be a massive killing. But then, if anything, Villa regressed and went into themselves, and Ipswich were the better side in the second half. So, I mean, did you think it could go either way, or do you think Ipswich may have had something in them to actually win it?
I think when you go into the game, you think Villa should really win. I mean, Villa, like John just said, under Unai Emery, he's done such an incredible job, and I suppose this season they're sort of expected to get top four. I mean, last season we didn't expect them to get top four. You probably would think maybe top six is probably realistic, but they've obviously achieved above and beyond. So I think this season they've sort of got that pressure maybe on them to do that again, and fans want that too. But I think this game was like. Yeah, proper surprised me that they didn't win. I mean, Watkins, yeah, obviously it didn't surprise me that they got back into the game, but Ipswich are going to be a very tough team to play against. I think a lot of their promoted teams will always be, up for it. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to sort of see how Ipswich do get on the season. I do think they'll stay up as well, but I just think, I think they probably maybe, I think like you said, it could have gone either way. Like it was one of those games where you thought was one of them going to win at the end. But obviously a draw, isn't the worst result for both teams. I think, like John said, for Villa, it's probably a bit disappointing for them because you expect them to probably get those 3 points in this game. But obviously for Ipswich, I think this is a very good point because Villa are a top side and they're hard to play against. So, yeah, a very exciting game, of course. But like you said, it literally could have gone any way from either side.
And Barney, how did this make you feel over the weekend?
I absolutely agree with Sophie, every single word per word. Villa would have looked at that game thinking that should have been a win, but Ipswich are no pushovers. I've been really, really impressed with them. I've watched their rise from League One to the Premier League with great interest, and I absolutely think their manager has done a superb job. Really, really good. And they're evolving every game. I think they're getting better and better. Yes, they've had 4 draws in a row, including against us. Of course, we're Fulham. We always give points away. Yeah, really, really good. And that Delap I really, really rate. Great player, good on the ball, and you just know he's going to get chances and score. So, brilliant point for Ipswich. A point on the ball, they'll take every point they can get. I think they're of the 3 sides who come up, my favourite, and I think they'll definitely stay up, 100%.
No, I make you right, mate, on that. And I mean, when you look at the table from the results that Ipswich have got, they're not doing that bad at the moment. I know we keep saying that it's only start of the season, but they are 15th at the moment. They have got 4 points on the board, and even if they keep drawing, that will keep generating more points and more points. And usually they say 38 points is enough to survive in the Premier League. They could go and draw all the rest of their blinking games and get through. You never know. They may survive on that. Villa, obviously, are flying high. They are in 5th at the moment, but Champions League is starting to kick around now, the early stages of the cup games. So, I mean, we shall see. So, now we jump to one of the oldest stadiums in the country. We go to Old Trafford. It is a game that is very dear to my heart. Had a very good impact on me over the weekend. It was wonderful. No, so obviously got both us, Spurs and Man United, both in the not of the greatest line of form. We both had ups and downs, games we should have won, games we shouldn't have won either. but it did end in 3-0 Spurs. So I will come to. I'll go with Soph on this one to see how your opinion will be on this of how Spurs played and how United fell apart. What did you think of the game, Soph?
You know what? Going into it, I was thinking like it'd be a draw, but if I had to pick a team that I thought would score, I was really thinking United would score, but I also think Spurs so far this season, like I know there's been a few results that haven't gone your way, but I think you look better than last season in some ways. I mean, defensively, I know is something that you struggle with, but I think, yeah, wow, I was like, I think you could even scored more. To be honest, I have honestly no words. I was like, what is going on? I mean, I think before Bruno Fernandes got sent off, you were sort of doing well anyway. But I think that was just like the icing on the cake. It just made everything better for you guys. Like I think with the red cards, I'm in the middle about it. I know it's all being turned over, I think, but I think that obviously made things a lot harder for United. I mean, United did have a few chances. I know there wasn't like a lot of chances they had, but they could have got back in the game. But I think for Spurs, it was probably one of your best performances, to be honest. Like in the sense that you had a lot of domination, you were winning the ball back, you wanted to win, and it's a nice feeling knowing that your team are hungry and yeah, I think he wanted to win it more than United, to be honest. I mean, I remember when Rashford was playing, he had a few chances and you could see he was trying, but it just felt like the midfield for United was just really poor. Like everything about United was off. I mean, like don't get me wrong, United weren't good, but I think you shouldn't take that away from you guys that you had a good performance. Um, but yeah, I think you know you didn't expect 3 goals, but I think this performance for you guys will help you going forwards. And I think it'll give you a lot of confidence, to be honest, because you know United's always a tough game. I mean, I know whenever we play United, you can never predict, you know, which United's going to turn up. It's so weird, but yeah, a very important win for Spurs, I think.
Wonderful stuff. John, if I come over to you, mate,
Yeah.
obviously the key points from the game is obviously Fernandez getting sent off, which Soph obviously thought was a red card. For me, I want to ask 2 crucial points, and that is, did you think it was a red card? And does United have an identity, or are they devoid of anything at the moment?
Mixture of both, to be fair. I mean, you looked at it again. That looks like he's sending off when you first look at it, because he starts to the height. Okay, he did slip, but he did caught him as well at the same time. So I think 50-50 on that one. I mean, Sophie thought it was a red card and that sort of thing. So to me, I thought it was red. Because I tell you now, and there'll be any other club like us or lesser clubs that have not even got to the next stage on the appeal. Do you know what I mean? But I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie. But again, I think looking after the big 6 clubs again. Sorry, Sophie, but and if you look at it, right, I'm not being, and also on the game at Old Trafford, I'm not going to lie. I think United were poor. They were absolutely shocking. I'm sorry, I can't lie. Look at the first goal, right? Marcus Rashford, it was a fault for the first goal. Van der Ven, right? You know how good he is bringing the ball out from the back with pace. He's always going to go forward so direct. 4 men, he's surrounded by 4 guys, got through them. And if you want to learn how to cross the ball, that's how you cross the ball. Beautiful cross, straight to Brennan Johnson, and he was not going to miss that. Harry's going to be happy with that as well, by the way, and you as well, Kallum. But I mean, the second goal, where was the defense, man? The defense was over the shop. What was he trying to do? Try to clear it out, yeah? Kulusevski, ain't going to miss that. Decky ain't going to miss that at all whatsoever. Spurs should have been out of sight. They should have been out of sight. And then, you know what I mean? But should have been 6 or 7 before Garnacho or Garnacho. I'll call him Garnacho. That's what I'm going to call him. Garnacho, right? At times, because the thing is that everyone's picking this guy up, yeah? I'll ask you a question, right? How good is Garnacho? Do you think he's good?
I think he's a decent player, but it's the consistency basis.
Yeah,
with
he doesn't do it enough,
everyone.
does he?
Yeah.
Inconsistent, yeah.
How many marks out of 10 would you give Garnacho? I'll go around the table. How many marks out of 10 would you give Garnacho? I'll start with you, Kallum. Marks out of 10.
Are we going for his career or that game in
No,
general?
no, not that game so far for United as a player.
Probably about 5 or a 6 maximum.
Soph?
Yeah, I was thinking about a 5, really.
Okay, Barney?
I've not been impressed with him, so I'm going for 5.
Yeah, I'll go for 5 as well. People are always picking this guy up. I just don't think he's inconsistent. He thinks he's an audition. Yeah, I just don't rate that guy. I really don't. I don't get the hype about this guy.
I think Diallo's a better player. I think Diallo's got more about him and all that.
I agree. But
so
5 for me for Garnacho. Or Garnacho, sure. Garnacho.
Oh, right.
I love saying that. I love saying that. Sorry.
No, it's all right, mate. It's at the end of the day, you're right. He didn't show up at all in that game. I mean, he hit the post once, and I mean, Spurs obviously didn't make it easy for ourselves. We probably should have been about 6-0 up at half time, even without the red card. But once we did score the second goal, we did let United come back into it a little bit as well. So I mean, Barney, if I come over to you, mate, obviously Spurs didn't make it easy for ourselves. It does look better on paper, how the stats look and all that, but it wasn't the greatest of like a little part of the second half, probably about 15 minutes. It let them get back in there, and if Garnacho actually did show up, and if a couple of other people did show up, then potentially it could have allowed United back into the game. So what do you think, mate?
I think exactly that. I mean, Garnacho, had he actually taken his chances, Spurs did, from what I saw, take the foot off the gas a little bit. I mean, quite frankly, I'm amazed that you weren't 6-0 up. I said the same thing to Harry. You know, you should have scored 5 or 6. I just don't know how it didn't happen. It was total domination. Now, was that partly how well Spurs played or how poor United were? Probably about a bit of both. I've been saying this for a long time, and I say this to my United friends. Manchester United, unfortunately for them, are just not as feared. Certainly when I was a kid, I looked at Manchester United as a side to be feared at Old Trafford. You just didn't go there. It just didn't happen under Sir Alex Ferguson. You didn't go there and get anything, let alone score a goal. And now sides go there and they're confident they can get something. And Manchester United need to get that fear factor back. Spurs were brilliant. Van der Ven, terrific. You know, he's my model defender, if you like. Goes from transition from defense to attack. He's brilliant. I think every side needs a Van der Ven. But yeah, Spurs will be.
You know what it is, right? You know what it is about Van der Ven. Starting to come about Van der Ven. I think that guy, he's that good. I think he'd be brilliant playing for Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Don't say that. Good. Don't bloody say that.
He could go to the top. He could go to the top, John. Sorry, Kallum. What do you say about that?
Is he in your FPL now, or not yet?
Next week it'll be him, Anderson, Ndoggy, and Robinson at the back 4.
Very nice, very nice. I mean, I have seen memes of Van der Ven looking like the new Forrest Gump now. He just keeps running and running and running. He don't bloody stop. He will just keep going for you. So I think that is... I mean, I love him as a Spurs fan. I think he is more of an all-rounded player than Romero, to be honest. I mean, when you've got people like that, then it is very good. But I mean, at the moment, Spurs have found some form, whether it's a blip in the road and maybe we'll probably fall in the face against Fabrikanos tomorrow night or Brighton on, I believe it's Sunday. We shall see. So let's jump to our final game of the weekend, Monday night kickoff. I think, is it the South Road Derby or something like that, or South Coast Derby? They seem to have lots of different names for it. But going to Bournemouth, Southampton had a nice little travel up, and it did end in 3-1. But if I go to John on this one, you a fan of Monday Night Football, mate? Or is it like the rest of us, we've all been at work in the day and just get home and put our feet up?
Monday Night Football, I'm not too keen on Monday Night Football, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. But it'd be good for night games. But for me, I'll be missing 2 games this year. West Ham at home, Liverpool home. Those are the games I cannot make. But for me, I mean, I do like night games, actually. But Monday night games, I'm not so sure. Because for me, it's just awkward time, but it's what it is. So if it's a Monday night game, it's a Monday night game. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of it, but I don't mind it.
No, I appreciate that, mate. And so, obviously, it was Bournemouth 3-0 at half time. I mean,
sorry, can I comment
it
that game
kind of.
quickly? Sorry, just a quick,
Course you
just
can,
very
mate,
quick
course
one.
you
I think Bournemouth looked really good, and you know what it is. Southampton were poor. I'm not going to lie. They're trying to play possessive, trying to play free-flowing football. It ain't going to work with Ross and Martin in this league. You can get away with the Championship. You cannot do it in the Premier League. I don't know if they've been fanned out already, but trying to play it out from the back, it's just not working. But they will give it a roll. But for me, they can't afford to sack Russell because I think he's the guy. If anyone's going to keep him up, it'd be him.
Okay, mate. No, so, what were your thoughts on the game? Was it like what John said? Was it as dire for Southampton? And should they have just not even bothered turning up to the game?
Oh, do you know what? They're in a mess. I don't know what to say. I mean, I know we spoke a bit on Ramsdale, didn't we, at the start? But I think he's not had the best start really to his time at Southampton. But I think as well as a team, they're not doing good. I think Bournemouth, like John said, they're doing really good at the moment. So I think that's much credit to them. But the second half came and, Southampton scored. And you sort of think maybe the comeback's on or maybe they'll try and get a draw out of the game and make it a bit more exciting. But I just think Southampton right now, I think defensively they're quite poor. I mean, Ramsdale, we know, was at Arsenal and he did very well. So I hope he does well for Southampton. But I think this is a great result for Bournemouth, definitely. But for Southampton, I think they're just in a bad mess right now. And they've got to play us at the weekend. So I don't think it's going to get any better right now.
Are they playing at home? Are they playing at St Mary's or are they playing at the Emirates at the weekend against you guys?
I think we could be away because we've been home quite. Actually, we're at home, surprisingly. I hope we give Ramsdale a nice reception. No. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah, we're at home. I thought we were away for some reason.
Well, hopefully you guys do give him a good reception because I doubt Arteta will. Let's put it that way.
It'll be so awkward. I don't think they're going to hug, are they?
Southampton fan.
Yeah, they're not going to hug, I don't think. Yeah, it'd be a bit awkward.
There's going to be no easy life to that one. So, Barney, if I come over to you, mate, obviously, it was Evan Nilsson's first goal that he got. But also, one of the highlights of the game was the Bournemouth commentator aggravating all of the Southampton fans by saying that the last train to Southampton had been cancelled that night and they was all stuck there for the evening. Did you hear that live, mate?
And I did, and I had to have a laugh. I mean, it's a bit of banter, isn't it? You've got to have a bit of laugh. I mean, we've all been there. We've all been on the end of bad defeats as football fans, and sometimes you have to see the funny side. But yeah, poor result for Southampton, and I just don't see where they go from here, Kallum. To be honest, they just look. No disrespect to them, but out their depth in the Premier League, I think they're going about it the wrong way. Okay, but I think Bournemouth are one of these sides who are just very solid. They're a good mid-table side, and their manager's doing a good job. And I do fear for Southampton, Kallum. I don't see a way back from this point for them at the moment.
No, I completely concur, mate. Definitely, I think Southampton are one of the odds-on favourites to go down. So, obviously, that does cover all of our games for week 6. There are just a couple of questions that I just want to throw to people just before we end. So, if we go for this first one, we'll go for yes/no answers and say a quick little bit of spiel, just to see what people's thoughts are. So I'll come to John first on it. Do you think Ten Hag is staying for the full season, mate?
I hope they do because they've got no one to come in. But from me, I'm going to say, So
That's got me there. That's got me there, mate. I'm sorry.
For me, I think I can't see it. I just can't see it. Can't see it. Can't see it. No thing. No.
Okay.
Can't see it.
So for you, the same as John, are you hoping that they keep him so you can get an easy 3 points at Old Trafford and when they rock up at the Emirates, or do you think that do you think that Radcliffe's group will have the common sense to just go, it's not working, let's go somewhere else?
Honestly, like, obviously right now, we all want them to stay forever, but yeah, they're just United. It's really weird. Like, they can beat Man City in an FA Cup and play really well, and like against you guys, they just look so average, like so bad. But yeah, I'm enjoying, going to Old Trafford knowing that we're going to get those 3 points. And when they come to the Emirates, it's always like an easy win. Like Barney said, you always felt, years ago when you went to Old Trafford, you used to feel nervous. You used to think, oh my God, it's going to be a tough game. But now it's like a walk in the park. So it's quite, yeah. I think because he's won stuff, that's bought him time, to be honest. I think if he didn't win FA Cup, he would have gone last season. But I think this season, I think he will leave if it gets that bad.
Okay. No, I get where you're coming from. So Barney, same question over to you, mate. Is Ten Hag staying for the full season, or will he have his P45 by Christmas?
He's who comes in is going to be under pressure. I do fear for him, though. It's only going to take a run of 2 or 3 bad results, and the Wolves will be at his door. So I'm going to say, Kallum, I don't think he will.
Okie dokie. I'm the same as you guys. I hope he stays there because I think that if he rocks up at White Hart Lane later on in the season, then I think we'll probably get another 3 points if he keeps playing the way he is. But I don't think he's going to survive past Christmas if Europa League keeps going the way that it is, if the Prem starts going like that, and if he goes out one of the cups early, I think that he's going to start feeling the squeeze. Let's put it this way, considering how much money they've spent. So if I throw the last question out to you guys, who are your 3 teams to get relegated? And I'm going to add a little bit onto it and just say, who's a 50-50 team that could go as well? So I'm going to come to Soph first on this one.
Do you know what, with Everton, it's quite hard to say. I think I would say them, like you said, a 50-50. I think Southampton are going back down. I mean, like we said, it's early on, but they're just doing really bad. I think Ipswich, I reckon they'll probably stay up. I think they'll have enough to stay up. But Wolves is another one. It's like if they're still going how they're going and not getting results, then they're just going to go back down. But I'd probably say Everton, Southampton. It's just the next one that I don't know. I think Wolves have a chance of going down, don't they, really? Because they've not really had a good start at all. So, yeah, that's my answer, really.
Okay. No, I completely appreciate that. Barney, I'll come to you on this one. Same question to you, mate. And who's your 50-50?
My 50-50's Wolves, and I think Leicester, Southampton, and Everton.
Do you think they're all going to have a really bad season?
I think they're going to all be down there and scrapping. I mean, if you look at the table now, even at this, early stage, you can see patterns be there or thereabouts in certain positions. And I just look at their runs coming up, and yeah, I think they'll all be down there scrapping, Kallum, to be honest, the teams I mentioned.
No, I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that. And John, same for you, mate. So we'll go 50-50, and who's your 3 to go down?
As things stands, I think I'm not going to lie, Southampton will go, Leicester, and you can take a case on Wolves to be fine. I think Ipswich should be fine. Ooh, it could be anyone at the minute, but Southampton, Leicester, and I'm going to say I may have to sit on the fence at the minute, but Everton will get out of it as well, guys. I really do think that. But I'm going to put my neck on the block, and I'm going to say, and I think this could be the end for someone. I'm going to say Wolves, as things stands.
No, I get where you're coming from, mate. I mean, Wolves have had a good run, but I mean, I don't think they can consistently keep losing all their best players and then having to restart their project over and over again because they're really good at developing players. They've got to maintain them as well. So no, I think I agree with all of you that there's definitely the options for any of them teams to go down. So obviously, thanks very much for tonight, guys. So obviously that is the end of our Q&A. I'm not going to lie. I think we're all looking forward to Gameweek 7. And I think that if anyone wants to come back on next week, I would be happy to go through it all with you. We can, if you want to, do some quick predictions on the games. Completely up to you guys. If not, that's sort of where we are. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I don't mind, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool either way, yep.
Okie dokie. We'll just go around and do some quick predictions then. So if we just go numbers quickly, and then we'll review it all next week. So we've got early kickoff, Palace, Liverpool. Soph, what are you going for?
2-0 Liverpool.
Okie dokie. Barney?
3-1 Liverpool.
And John?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool.
Okie dokie. Soph, will come to you first because it's Arsenal. Arsenal Saints.
I think, 3-0 to Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal. John?
4-0 Arsenal.
I'll take that.
And Barney?
3-0 Arsenal.
Ooh, nice. At least we got goals in that one. Leicester Bournemouth. So, John?
Leicester Bournemouth. That can go either way. I'm going to say 2-1 to Bournemouth.
Ooh, nice. Barney?
1-1.
1-1. Soph, you going for a win either way, or you going for a draw?
I was just going to say what Bonnie said. I think it's going to be 1-1, yeah. I just see a draw happening in this game.
Okie dokie. Barney, Man City, Fulham at the Etihad. What are you thinking, mate?
I want to say something nice, but 2-1 City.
Okie dokie. John?
Score game, Fulham and Man City. Is it Man City?
Yeah.
Is that at Craven Cottage?
Nah, Etihad.
3-1 City. Sorry, Barney.
I don't
sorry.
expect anything. All right. No, I don't expect anything, John.
So, do you
I hope
reckon?
you win, mate. I hope you win. Barney, I hope you do it.
Do you know what? There's two that I've got two results in my head. I'm like 2-2 or 2-1 Man City. I'm just praying Smith Rowe can just help us out.
So, what are you going for?
2-1 City. Unfortunately.
2-1 City.
I think it's because it's at Man City. If it was at your guys' stadium, it'd be a bit. I feel more like you guys would get something, but because it's at Man City, I'm like, I don't know if you'll do it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Olympic Park, West Ham versus Ipswich. We'll go Barney on this one. Is it Ipswich coming to ruin West Ham's day, or will West Ham finally get out of the clouds?
1-0 Ipswich. I think they can do a surprise. I think they got an away winning them.
So, if I'll jump back to you, you going to back Barney, or do you think he's being delusional?
I think it'll be a draw, to be honest. I'm going to go 2-2.
Oh, 2-2. John, do you think there'll be goals in this one for a goal scoring draw, West Ham Ipswich, or do you reckon it'll go either way?
I think Lopetegui needs to win that game for his sake, and I'm going to take the plunge, and I'm going to go for Ipswich to win that one by 2-1.
Oh, very nice, very nice. John, we're jumping back to you. Newcastle travelling into Goodison at the 5:30 kickoff on Sky, mate. What are you thinking?
Tricky game. We lost that 2 seasons ago. It would have been an easy Newcastle win. Last season, we lost that game. I tell you what, we've got no striker unless Anthony Gordon plays there. Isak could be out. Wilson will definitely not be playing. Ursula, not ready yet. For me, I'm going to go. I don't want to back against my side. I'm going to say 2-1 to Newcastle, but only just.
Okie dokie.
Only just.
Let's go. Only just. Well, don't go down the betting shop, mate. If not, you're going to lose all your money then if you're going for an only just on that one.
Yeah.
Let's go to Barney. Villa versus United, 2 o'clock kickoff at Villa Park. What are you thinking, mate?
Villa at home. I wouldn't bet against them, so I'm going 2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa. Soph, what are you thinking?
I think 2-0 Villa.
2-0
it's
Villa.
gonna.
Okie dokie. John?
Yeah, I'll go just Villa. I think.
What are you thinking? Villa United.
Don't look good for Ten Hag, done it. I'm going to say 2-0 Villa. Because they are that good.
Very nice. Soph, we'll go to you. Chelsea Forest at Stamford Bridge. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it'll be hard against Forest, but I think Chelsea will win this 3-1. Yeah, I think 3-1.
Okie dokie. Barney, West London rivals. You back in Chelsea or are you going for Forest?
Forest will want a response after their defeat against us. They're not a bad side, but I think Chelsea will have too much. I'm going for 2-0 Chelsea.
Okie dokie. Right. Let's do last game then, and then we'll jump. Tottenham Brighton. Soph, what are you thinking?
That's a tough one, because Brighton, like John said, had a good start. I think I'll go 2-1 Tottenham. I think you'll just win it, but I think it'll be a very tough game.
Okie dokie. John?
I'm going to go 3-1 to Tottenham.
Okie dokie. And Barney, what are you thinking?
I think it'll be a tough game for Tottenham. Brighton are a decent side, but I think you'll just scrape it 1-0.
Okie dokie. Right, let's call it a night then, guys. So, obviously, thanks very much to everyone in the chat, and thank you very much to all my co-hosts. So, Soph, where can everyone find you?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on, and yeah, I really enjoyed tonight's show. It's been super fun. But yeah, if you guys want to follow my YouTube channel, it's Guna Gossip TV. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, it's TV_Guna.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much. And Barney seems to be stuck with me every week now at the moment, mate. Where can everyone find you?
You're a great host, mate. Pleasure to be on with you, and thank you, Harry, for having me on as well. You can find me on X, Twitter at Ambrose Barnaby, so please feel free to follow me. And it's been great to see you too, Sophie, and you too, John. Really good to chat with you this evening.
Thank you.
And last but not least, the big man, John Sinclair, on with me again, mate. Even after that horrible Newcastle game earlier in the season against you. Where can everyone find you, mate?
Thank you very much for having us on, by the way, Kallum. I really appreciate that. If you could find me on John Sinclair TV, I've got nearly 22,000 subs. and also I'll do like previews, reviews. I'll do match day vlogs. Having issues at the minute at the club in a minute, but that's another day. I'll also going to do my English fan experience on October the 23rd. I should be at Madrid to watch Atletico Madrid versus Lille. It's my first. There's Italy a lot, years ago, but not for vlogging. But it's been my first vlog abroad, so I'll be doing that, and I'm going to meet some hopefully Madrid fans, Lille fans as well. And it's going to be a fantastic night. So once I do my vlog, so that's going to be a kind of new series, but I will do more European games. And just breaking news, reviews, previews. Just follow us. Links in there.
Lovely stuff. So obviously go and follow all of my co-hosts tonight. If you want to check me out, don't have to, but if you want to, people can find me at Park Lane Podcast on a Sunday night. You can find me on Twitter, KallumStubbs97. You can find Dave over on Fat Boy Pods at the moment doing FPL previews and FPL. You can go and win some money. Go and nick his money. It's wonderful. Just do it for the fun of it. But if you want to find me, you'll see me on Harry's show on this coming Monday, and I will be back hosting next week. So if you want to get questions in for the Premier League show Gameweek 7 review, please go and check us out. And obviously, big up to Harry, big up to all my co-hosts, and as always, have a good week and bring on the Premier League.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.